It is Easter Sunday, 2026, and I wanted to do a walkthrough, like a video journal, to see what is flushed out, etc., and what is still asleep. So these guys are the crabapple trees. I think I already told you guys or showed you before that we had some damage this year, and this one got snapped off. And I had an option of trying to graft the broken piece back on, but that would then also always be a weak spot. And I was curious to see what it would do on its own. So I'm leaving it for now to watch it. And these guys, of course, are already, this guy's, probably almost 4 feet tall, this guy. And these guys are probably 3.5. So that's what we're doing. We're doing just a walkthrough. Over here, I had something. These guys are last year's lilacs. Not last year's, but I brought them in last year. And so these guys are flushing out with just leaves. But I did prune them because they were, at the time, they were just too long. They were just sticks, kind of a thing, and they were going to be almost like trees. And so far, you guys, which is perfectly fine, you guys didn't have an interest in trees. You wanted bushes. Well, okay. So in order to make these guys bushes, I needed to prune this and then encourage growth at the bottom. And they're not all waking up at the same time, which is perfectly fine and perfectly normal. So that's one of the lilacs. And then I wanted to really point out some of the difference. All right, let me get back to what I was going to do. So these guys are all sedum, ground cover sedum. Then we've got several different new variety of lilacs that are waking up. These guys aren't going to be available this year, obviously. Well, not obviously. What I'm saying is I'm going to raise these guys myself for a while and then prune, take cuttings, and propagate myself. So these are the ones that I did an unboxing of. So we've got the Congo lilac, the President Grevy, the Beauty of Moscow, the Yankee Doodle, the Primrose here. And then I've got Red Pixie and Palabin, Miss Kim. Seems like there was something else in the back area. So these guys are just going to be raised out for probably a couple years. I would imagine it's going to be at least another year or about a year before I'm able to take cuttings of these guys and then start them. And lilacs are super hard to start, which is probably why we don't see a whole lot of people offering lilacs. But my goal is to be the destination for lilacs. So I'm going to be doing a whole lot of cuttings and we'll see what happens. So now we are inside this little area. So these are last year's and maybe the year before. And I just kind of want to show you what's waking up and what's not. For example, the PG hydrangea, that's what all of these little guys are. PG hydrangeas. Then we've got some bigger ones from last year. Even the bigger ones, very few are showing anything. So can you see the tiny little green on there? They're just starting to wake up. So I wanted to point this out because I do have some other hydrangeas that are already waking up, and like the silver dollars, but they're on the other side there. And then we've got these guys, which are rosemary willows. These four right here. So they're just starting to wake up too, just now. And again, this may not be an average year because, as you know, we've been incredibly dry and incredibly warm. So that's another reason why I want to do this journal is to kind of compare. So these are the forsythias, Linwood Gold forsythias, and they were actually starting to wake up probably a couple weeks ago. And even then, some of them are not quite waking up yet, and some of them are just starting to wake up. So You know, we just got to be patient. And then we've got limelight hydrangeas. Now, these guys look like they're actually getting a little bit quicker start than the PGs. So that's something that I want to have in my little memory, little is it, is some of the hydrangeas wake up faster than others. So for me, it doesn't matter who's waking up faster. I just need to know that just because somebody still looks dead doesn't mean it is. Okay, so those are those guys. And then we've got the Alexandra Weigelas. Now, these guys barely starting to wake up, and that's only on the bigger ones. So this is last year's dead leaves, and you can see some green there. But on some of these, nothing. And again, perfectly normal. Okay, and then we've got more of the lilacs. And again, as I showed you before, I did some harsh pruning to encourage bushing from lower down so that we didn't have just trees. So we've already got these guys waking up. These guys are going to be ready to go. These guys are going to be ready to go by Mother's Day. And probably a little bit before, probably a week before Mother's Day, I'm going to start taking appointments and maybe actually opening up for a few hours that weekend, because lilacs are a hot item for Mother's Day. Then we've got the spireas. Now, I think you guys already saw in the last video, the spireas were waking up nicely anyway. But even then, so like this guy, look at all of that, just lovely. And then we've got a couple that are just starting to get going. Perfectly normal. And then we've got polka weigelas. Now, the polka weigelas seem to be waking up a little faster than the Alexandra weigelas. Not sure why. And then we've got the Froebel spirea. And then we've got two groups here. So these are phantom hydrangeas. Let me try to get down here. And the phantom hydrangeas, like, really slow to get started. Tiny, can you see? Tiny little green spots there. Every great once in a while, and even on this tiny little guy. So these guys are the phantoms. They're just starting to wake up very slowly, which is lovely. And then we've got red prince weigelas, and I like right there, right here, tiny little green. So they're waking up very slowly, which is lovely. Now, here's where I wanted to show you. From, you know, this angle, you may not be able to see it, but the silver dollars have been were starting to wake up over 2 weeks ago, very, very slowly, but they were. So these are all silver dollar hydrangeas. And you see that guy right there? And then these guys are a little bigger back here. These guys are going to be up potted to 2 gallons. Several of these are going to be up potted to 2 gallons. But if you look very closely, you can see that they're waking up. But they started this a couple weeks ago, and there hasn't been a whole lot of change. So that's something for me to just kind of remember for next year, is they're just slow wakers. They're like my dog Pepper. She takes her time. And then we've got the last of last year's lilacs, well, except for the Miss Kims, which are in the other place. And again, I did a harsh pruning on these guys to encourage bushing out from the bottom, which you can see there. Okay. And again, everything that's in here is actually going to be ready to go by Mother's Day. I do have about 1,000 or 1,500 plants arriving the last of April, the very first of May. And it'll be questionable whether or not they'll really be flushed out. It's always a question. So here we have unique hydrangeas. And again, slowly waking up. Tiny little green little leaves on there. And then, what are these guys? Are this is French tree? Yeah, so I've got 3 French trees left. Now, so far, absolutely nothing. And I don't expect it to quite yet. I mean, it's just barely April. So there we got with those guys. Then we've got the 3 mock orange. Now, one of the mock oranges is really waking up much faster than the other 2. Just something to be aware of. Then we've got all the Java red weigelas. Let me see, I don't see anything waking up on the Weigelas quite yet. Now, something else that I need to make a point of here is they're not getting morning sun quite yet because this has all been protected. And I'm going to do some changes this year so that these guys have a lot more sun. I've been keeping them protected because of the grasshoppers, but they do, even in pots, they do prefer to have more sun. So I'm going to work on that. These guys, the viburnums, so the viburnums are waking up, and these guys are all at about the same level of waking up, which is kind of fun. And then these guys are 9-barks. 9-barks have been fun for me. I've really enjoyed these guys. I just love the fact that they just, kind of do whatever they want. Just love them. And they are waking up at all different levels or all different stages. Perfectly fine. Then we've got the dappled willow. Now, I don't see anything going on with the dappled willow quite yet. So we'll get back to that. And then we've got the tardiva. I'm going to say tardiva until somebody corrects me. Hydrangea. And I don't see anything going on with that just yet. Is that what I see there? I don't think so. That's dry. Nope, that's last year's. So nothing going on with this guy just yet. So, and then the only thing I think we have left, we've got the emerald green arborvitas. Hang on. Here we go. And I just moved these guys over here so that I had space on the other, where they were, to put some medium. So these guys are looking pretty darn good and pretty healthy and pretty happy. Yeah, they love the morning sun. So that is the update currently for these guys. And then over on the other area is the hostas, and I just got 20 more hostas, and they were already breaking ground. They were bare root, but when I say breaking ground, I mean they were waking up. They were already waking up when I got them. So I'm hoping that they stay warm enough that they don't just freeze off, right? And this is beautiful, Leia. Beautiful girl, yes. This is all of my supervision. All right. Hope you guys are having a great day, great weekend, and I will see you soon.